That is Chernobyl nuclear reactor number 4. It melted down on April 26, 1986.
Welcome to the DANAKIL depression.
There are some places on Earth that are so dangerous that you should never visit them, even if you're desperate for a vacation. There are lakes that can kill you in an hour, caves that will boil you alive, and radioactive islands where the rats will give you bubonic plague. Join us as we take a look at 20 of the most dangerous places on Earth that you should definitely avoid visiting at any cost. Number 20, NAICA Crystal Cave. Some of the most breathtaking places on our planet also happen to be the most dangerous. Take, for instance, the mesmerizing NAICA Crystal Cave, nestled nearly 300 meters beneath the surface of NAICA, Mexico. This subterranean wonderland is adorned with colossal, milky white selenite crystals that captivate anyone fortunate enough to see them. The formation of these oversized pillars is an extraordinary tale of nature's artistic prowess. Volcanic minerals in water found their way into the cave system, and over thousands of years, they crystallized into the magnificent structures we see today. These crystals are so large that multiple adults could comfortably walk on them, with lengths of almost 12 meters and astonishing weights of up to 55 tons. However, before you start planning a visit to this enchanting underground realm, consider the perilous conditions it presents. The NAICA Crystal Cave lies above an underground magma chamber, causing the temperature within the cave to soar to extreme levels, reaching up to 45 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the humidity in the cave can reach a staggering 99%. This combination creates an environment where the air is so saturated with moisture that sweat cannot evaporate from your skin, rendering your body's natural cooling mechanism virtually ineffective. In such an oppressive setting, surviving more than 10 minutes becomes a risky venture, as the threat of heat stroke, organ failure, and ultimately, death looms ominously. Number 19. Elephant Foot Chernobyl. The place you are seeing right now is so dangerous that it would result in death within 5 minutes. At first glance, it's hard to know what's happening in this picture. A giant mushroom seems to have sprouted on a factory floor, where a ghostly man in hard hat seems to be working. There's something undeniably eerie about the scene, and for good reason. You're looking at the largest agglomeration of one of the most toxic substances ever created, corium. This surreal site is known as the Elephant's Foot, located at the heart of the infamous Chernobyl disaster, one of the most catastrophic nuclear accidents in history. Back in 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine witnessed a catastrophic explosion from its reactor, releasing massive amounts of radioactive matter and fuel. The radiation was detected as far away as Sweden, leaving a long-lasting impact on the environment. Even today, the Chernobyl exclusion zone, spanning thousands of square miles, is considered uninhabitable due to the lingering radiation. While some regulated tourism is allowed, one area remains strictly off-limits to visitors: the Elephant's Foot. As of now, it is enclosed in the Chernobyl New Safe Confinement, a protective steel structure that took 2 decades to construct. Standing outside the steel dome offers a degree of safety, but venturing inside would be perilous. Within just 30 seconds, high-energy radioactive particles would collide with the body, causing nausea and dizziness. After 2 minutes, cells would start to die, leading to severe health consequences. Shockingly, within 5 minutes of exposure, death would be inevitable. Number 18. Snake Island. Embarking on a journey to an island just off the Brazilian coast may sound exciting, but for the wise, it's an expedition filled with dangers. This mysterious land, officially named Ilha da Queimada Grande, is more famously known as Snake Island. As you venture beneath the tree line, a chilling sight awaits you: a wriggling, writhing mass of approximately 4,000 deadly serpents eagerly waiting to sink their venomous fangs into unsuspecting sightseers. Beware, for these are not your ordinary snakes. They are a rare and venomous breed called the Golden Lancehead, renowned as one of the most lethal snakes in the world. The potency of their venom is terrifying. It contains hemotoxins that swiftly consume flesh, cause the destruction of red blood cells, and lead to death in less than an hour. The golden lanceheads on Snake Island are relentless, and their presence demands utmost caution. But how did these menacing creatures find their way to this isolated island? Snake Island's origins trace back to a time when it was still connected to the Brazilian coast. Millennia of rising sea levels, however, eventually separated it from the mainland, leaving the snakes stranded in this treacherous paradise. Devoid of natural predators and abundant in seabirds to feed on, the snakes multiplied exponentially, establishing a terrifying reign on the island. The density of golden lanceheads on Snake Island is unimaginable. There are now estimated to be between 1 and 5 of these deadly snakes for every square meter of the island, meaning that visitors are never more than a few feet away from this lethal serpent. The risk they pose is so serious that the Brazilian Navy has taken strict action, prohibiting any human from setting foot on the island. So if you're thinking of embarking on a journey to Snake Island, be warned, you're treading on very dangerous ground. This is a place where death lurks around every corner, and the only way to survive is to stay far, far away. Number 17. FRASER Island. Summer is a time for fun and relaxation, and what better way to enjoy the warm weather than by spending a day at the beach? But there is one beach that is completely off-limits and should be avoided at all costs. FRASER Island, off the southeastern coast of Queensland, Australia. FRASER Island is a stunningly beautiful place, with miles of sandy beaches, lush rainforests, and crystal-clear lakes. But it is also home to some of the most dangerous creatures in the world, including jellyfish, sharks, snakes, and dingoes. The Irukandji jellyfish, one of the most venomous creatures on Earth, lurks here. Its sting can be fatal, and there is no known antidote. Bluebottles are another type of jellyfish that can cause serious injuries. The danger not only lurks because of sea creatures, there are deadly land predators too. Dingoes are wild dogs that are native to Australia. They are not always friendly, and they have been known to attack humans. On FRASER Island, there have been several fatal attacks by dingoes. The list of dangers does not stop here. The sand on FRASER Island is incredibly dangerous. It is often very soft and unstable, making it easy to get stuck or injured. The water here is also very shallow, and it is very difficult to see how deep it is. This has led to many people drowning. As there are thousands of beaches across the world, there is no logical reason to visit FRASER Island without a death wish. Number 16. North Sentinel Island. North Sentinel Island is a part of the Andaman Island archipelago in the Bay of Bengal and falls within Indian territorial waters. While most of the other islands are open to visitors and tourists and offer exactly what you'd expect from a tropical island, travel to North Sentinel is strictly forbidden. This is to protect the people who live there, the Sentinelese, who are one of the last remaining tribes in the world that are fully isolated. The reasons for this isolation date back centuries after a series of unfortunate encounters with passing vessels. The Sentinelese have seen any attempts by outsiders to visit the island as an aggressive act, and they respond in kind. For example, in 2006, 2 fishermen who became stranded on one of the beaches were swiftly executed by the islanders, and the same fate awaited an American missionary who tried to make contact with them in 2018. To try and prevent this from happening, there's a 5-mile exclusion zone around the island that's regularly patrolled by the Indian Navy. The intent is that the Sentinelese will be able to live their lives in peace without the risk of being interrupted by unwelcome visitors. If you're thinking about visiting North Sentinel Island, even for research purposes, don't. It's too dangerous. Ooh. Number 15. Death Road. If you're looking for a truly terrifying road trip, then you might want to consider Yungas Road in Bolivia. This narrow, winding road twists and turns along a sheer cliff face, climbing to a height of 4,600 meters above sea level. In places, the road is only 3 meters wide, with no guardrails to protect you from the blood-curdling 610 meters drop. Clouds of dust from the poorly maintained track make it hard to see, while humid winds from the nearby rainforest create regular rainstorms and mudslides. No wonder this place has earned the nickname Death Road. Despite its deadly reputation, plenty of daredevil drivers continue to use the route. Cars, trucks, and lorries often need to pass each other, forcing one vehicle to go on the very edge of the narrow track. During the 1990s, between 200 and 300 people lost their lives each year after losing control of their cars and plunging into the abyss below. If you're feeling particularly adventurous, you could try your luck on Death Road. Just remember that there's no turning back once you begin. You are not going to want to make a U-turn. Number 14. Lake NYOS. Lake NYOS is a beautiful lake in Cameroon, but it is also a deadly one. In 1986, a tall fountain of water suddenly sprouted out of the lake, releasing a white cloud of gas that rapidly grew in size. The gas reached a staggering height of 100 meters and spread over the nearby villages, killing more than 1,700 people. The gas was carbon dioxide, and at concentrations greater than 15%, it can be lethal. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air, so it sank down into the valleys surrounding the lake, suffocating people and animals alike. The danger stemmed from carbon dioxide being trapped under the lake and surrounding rocks for decades. When a nearby volcano erupted, it emitted dangerously high amounts of carbon dioxide, which gradually dissolved in the groundwater and eventually saturated the water of Lake NYOS. Unlike most cases of dissolved underwater carbon dioxide, which overturns and reaches the surface to dissolve harmlessly into the atmosphere, Lake NYOS was a ticking time bomb. Number 13. Death Valley. The scorching wilderness of Death Valley, California, is home to some of the most extreme temperatures on Earth. The heat is so intense that you could actually fry an egg on the ground, and the air is so dry that it can suck the moisture right out of your skin. This unique environment is the result of a combination of factors, including the deep holes that trap pockets of scalding air and the 4 surrounding mountain ranges that block rain clouds from forming. As a result, Death Valley is constantly in a state of drought, and the temperature can reach a mind-boggling 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 56 degrees Celsius. This extreme environment is incredibly dangerous for anyone who decides to explore it. People are always at risk of heat stroke and dehydration, and sadly, every year, 1 to 3 lives are lost due to the extreme heat. Apart from the scorching temperature, Death Valley is also home to many dangerous creatures that add to the risks. Rattlesnakes, scorpions, black widow spiders, and mountain lions live in this harsh land, so visitors need to be extremely cautious and ready for the challenges it brings. Number 12. Lake Natron. Lake Natron is a notorious place on Earth where all living creatures die from simple contact and where birds suddenly turn into stones and statues. Not only is the lake extremely alkaline, but this supernatural place in Tanzania can also reach dangerously high temperatures. Birds are particularly vulnerable to Lake Natron. The lake's surface is so reflective that it can look like a mirror, which can trick birds into flying straight into the water. Once they hit the water, the birds' feathers dissolve, and their skin cooks. During dry seasons, when the water recedes, the birds desiccate and turn into stone-like statues. The pictures speak for themselves. If you are planning a trip to Tanzania, just make sure to skip this lake. Number 11. Oymyakon. In the vast expanse of eastern Russia lies a place that will send shivers down your spine like nowhere else on Earth. Welcome to Oymyakon, the coldest, permanently inhabited place on the planet. The average low temperature in Oymyakon during winter plummets to a bone-chilling negative 53 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you think that's extreme, it can even dip to a jaw-dropping negative 90 degrees. The average temperature on Mars seems comparatively warm at negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, you heard that right. You might actually feel cozier on the red planet than in Oymyakon. Survival in this icy wonderland is a true test of human resilience. The brutal temperatures render ordinary living a challenge. Imagine a life where the simple act of venturing outside can become a life or death situation. A flat tire or a misplaced key could have dire consequences, as each second spent outdoors brings you closer to the perilous grip of freezing death. This is a place where the cold is a constant threat, and where life is lived on the edge. It is a place of extremes, where the human spirit is tested to its limits. Number 10. Mariana Trench. Deep in the South Pacific Ocean, there lies the Mariana Trench. It is a long and wide scar on the ocean floor, stretching 1,500 miles in length and 44 miles across. Imagine a crescent-shaped cut in the seabed, reaching an astonishing depth of 7 miles into the Earth's crust. That makes it the deepest point on our entire planet. To put it into perspective, if you were to drop Mount Everest into this trench, its peak would still be a mind-boggling 2,000 meters below the sea level. Now, you might be wondering, how deep is deep? Well, let's just say that this place isn't a friendly spot for a casual swim. The lack of sunlight means the water is pitch black and chillingly cold, only a few degrees above freezing, and the pressure at the bottom is utterly crushing. Imagine 8 tons pressing down on each square inch. That's like having the weight of 1,000 atmospheres on dry land. If you ever dared to step out of a submarine at the trench's bottom, any air pockets in your body would instantly collapse, leaving you with non-functional lungs. Definitely not a situation anyone wants to experience. Number 9. Mir Mine. In the last century, as the Soviet Union emerged as a global power, it sought to bolster its economy and wield influence on the international stage. This quest for economic strength and geopolitical advantage led to the inception of a daring project, the creation of the world's largest open-pit diamond mine. The Mir Mine, located in Siberia, is a staggering half a kilometer deep, an unfathomable abyss that seems to test the limits of human engineering. But what makes it even more terrifying is its potential to become a watery graveyard. In 2017, a leak led to the mine filling up with a mind-boggling 10 million cubic feet of water, enough to fill over 1,200 Olympic swimming pools. The idea of being caught in a flood in this colossal man-made chasm is pure nightmare fuel. And if you thought it couldn't get any scarier, think again. The depth of the Mir Mine has earned it a fearsome reputation, leading to helicopters being banned from flying over it. Why, you might ask? Because there's a lurking danger of these aircraft being sucked into a powerful vortex caused by downward air currents. Navigators are wary of the warm air rising from the pit, clashing with the cold air at the surface, creating a force that could pull down even relatively large machines. Mother Nature can play tricks on us even when we believe we've conquered her. Number 8. Great Blue Hole. The Great Blue Hole is a mysterious and alluring natural wonder, but it is also a dangerous place. This giant marine sinkhole is located off the coast of Belize and is so large that it is even visible from space. It began as an ancient limestone cave over 14,000 years ago, but now it is a massive marine sinkhole. This 120-meter deep hole, visible from space, attracts tourists every year. However, it is not for the faint of heart. If you really want to visit this wonder, you must be ready to battle strong currents that threaten to pull you into the abyss. And guess who lurks in those deep blue waters? Sharks! From Caribbean reef sharks to nurse sharks, hammerheads, bull sharks, and blacktip sharks, they patrol the depths of this great blue hole. Before jumping into this hole, you should also be aware of the signs of nitrogen narcosis, a condition that can occur at depths of 40 meters or more and can lead to disorientation and even death. In fact, there have been several deaths at the Great Blue Hole, including that of renowned diver Jacques Cousteau, who was a pioneer in underwater exploration and helped to popularize diving as a recreational activity. Number 7. Skeleton Coast. In the 16th century, Portuguese sailors ventured into the northern part of Namibia's Atlantic coast. They were met with horrifyingly treacherous and unpredictable waters, combined with the harshness of the Namib Desert. The conditions were perilous, making navigation a terrifying task. In light of this ominous and foreboding nature, the Portuguese explorers gave this region the name the Gates of Hell, symbolizing the fearsome challenges they encountered during their voyages. But the Portuguese were not alone in naming this unforgiving land with spine-tingling titles. The Bushmen of the Namibian interior also had their own ominous name for it, the land God made in anger. Today, this land is known as the infamous Skeleton Coast, surrounded by an aura of mystery and foreboding. It is no ordinary seaside paradise. Instead, it forms part of the vast and hostile Namib Desert, where finding life-giving water is like searching for a hidden treasure. Even though the boundless ocean lies nearby, the threat of dying from thirst remains ever present, justifying the name Skeleton Coast. Yet, The lack of water is only the beginning of the dangers in this eerie landscape. Colossal dunes conceal a formidable array of predators, including desert lions, hyenas, cheetahs, and jackals, all ready to pounce on any unsuspecting traveler. The bleached bones scattered across the sands bear witness to their ferocity, affirming that this place has rightly earned its ominous name. As if these perils weren't enough to discourage the faint-hearted, the coastline holds another chilling secret. Walking along its golden sands reveals the rusting remnants of around 1,000 shipwrecks. For centuries, these treacherous waters have claimed countless vessels, with unpredictable currents, hidden rocks, dense fogs, and howling winds conspiring to add new members to the spectral fleet of ghostly wrecks. Number 6. MADIDI National Park. MADIDI National Park, located along the Amazon River in Bolivia, covers about 11,000 square miles. It features dense forests filled with all sorts of flora, fauna, and yes, predators. The protected park was established in 1995 and is one of the most biologically diverse places in the world. It's also one of the largest protected areas worldwide. There are around 270 different types of mammals, 200 species of amphibians, 200 species of reptiles, and upwards of 1 alac and 20,000 species of creepy-crawly insects. Many of the plants are toxic and can cause rashes and allergic reactions. Many insects can kill or paralyze a grown human, and several mammals are predatory and dangerous. Of all the dangerous creatures in the park, jaguars, pumas, anacondas, and piranhas stand out. Also, it's sometimes said that everything that is natural in this park is poisonous. The park is stunning, breathtaking, and pure in its untouched beauty, but it is also highly dangerous. No one's safety is guaranteed. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. Have you ever seen a swirl this big? By the looks of it, it is at least 100 meters wide and appears to be rotating at a tremendous speed with enormous waves. The swirl is so powerful that it is creating a suction force, and it looks like it could suck in anything that gets too close. Just look at these ships. Is it a waterspout or a tornado? Or is it something else entirely, something more sinister, such as a portal to another dimension? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Number 5. Lake KARACHAY. In the heart of Russia, a lake so beautiful it could be mistaken for a painting hides a deadly secret. This is Lake KARACHAY, a picturesque pool so polluted that spending even a single hour on its banks is enough to claim your life. Once a pristine natural wonder, this lake fell victim to the harrowing consequences of man's pursuit of nuclear power. From 1951 to 1953, the Soviet Union callously turned it into a dumping ground for radioactive waste discarded from the nearby Mayak plant, a nuclear waste storage facility. The aftermath of this reckless decision was catastrophic, resulting in unparalleled contamination that would lead the World Watch Institute to name Lake KARACHAY as the most polluted place on Earth. As scientists grappled with measuring its toxicity in sieverts, a unit quantifying radiation's lethal impact on the human body, they discovered that a mere 5.6 sieverts an hour could claim a life in just around 50 minutes. To put that into perspective, the average person receives about 0.4 sieverts of radiation per year from natural sources. Number 4. DANAKIL Depression. Welcome to the most alien-looking place on Earth, the DANAKIL Depression in northwest Ethiopia. This surreal landscape resembles a radioactive wasteland, adorned with neon yellow craters and deep green waters, exuding an otherworldly beauty. However, beneath this captivating facade lies a treacherous terrain that poses deadly threats at every turn. The DANAKIL Depression is situated at the convergence of 3 highly mobile tectonic plates and is home to active volcanoes. This makes the region prone to regular earthquakes, which can open up fissures in the ground and release thick clouds of noxious sulfur and chlorine gases. The air is often filled with the stench of rotting eggs, making it difficult to breathe. The movement of the tectonic plates also gives rise to scalding hot springs. These springs are heated by a layer of molten magma, and their temperatures can reach a scorching 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Venturing into these enticing pools would be perilous, as the water could instantly scald your skin and flesh. Number 3. Radioactive Island. If one day your friend comes to you and suggests, Let's visit the tropical island of the Marshall Islands for vacation. Do one thing and do it quickly. Run. That's because you'll encounter a chilling sight. A haunting radioactive dome on Runit Island, nestled in the heart of the Marshall Islands, amidst the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, positioned between Hawaii and the Philippines. The dome is a grim reminder of the U.S. military's use of the Marshall Islands as a testing ground for 67 nuclear bombs from 1946 to 1958. The bombs inflicted severe and lasting damage on the delicate ecosystem. In a 2019 study, researchers from Columbia University found that the coral reef known as the Bikini Atoll is presently 10 times more radioactive than the infamous Chernobyl site. The U.S. military attempted to address the problem in 1977 by entombing radioactive debris beneath a colossal 100-meter concrete dome on Runit Island. However, this makeshift solution was never intended to be permanent, and it has already begun to develop cracks, posing an imminent threat of contaminating the surrounding environment. Number 2. Sinabung Volcano. Mount Sinabung is a volcano in Indonesia that is arguably one of the most dangerous places on Earth. After being dormant for 400 years, it erupted in 2010, spewing hot gas, ash, and rocks into the surrounding area. The eruption caused widespread damage and killed at least 15 people. Sinabung is currently on level 3 to 4 alerts, which means that it is completely off-limits to climbers, and the public is warned to stay 3 to 7 kilometers away from the summit. In 2019, another eruption caused havoc across the local village, as ash and smoke shot into the air, coating the land in debris. The volcano is still active, so maybe watching it on phone screens is a good decision. Number 1. Bermuda Triangle. December 5, 1945, Lieutenant Charles Taylor and his 5 planes were in radio contact with the base when their frequency abruptly failed. There was no static or lost signal, just a complete loss of communication. The planes vanished without a trace, and a rescue team dispatched to find them never showed up. This incident, famously known as Flight 19, gave birth to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is a region in the North Atlantic Ocean, encompassing the space between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Over 50 ships and 20 planes are believed to have disappeared without a trace within its boundaries. Conspiracy theorists have concocted various fanciful explanations over the years, ranging from a giant man-eating whirlpool to a gang of UFOs and even deadly technology from the lost city of Atlantis. However, amidst these tales of the supernatural, the true danger lurking in the Bermuda Triangle might be more grounded in nature. Unpredictable weather conditions in the North Atlantic play a significant role in the triangle's peril. Violent windstorms known as white squalls and water tornadoes called waterspouts are common in these subtropical waters. Such events can pose serious threats to boats and aircraft, causing structural damage or forcing them off course. Outro. We hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.